kind of sinking in more and more that tomorrow is happening and the trailer is coming out. To all the people who are up in my DMs trying to guess what character I'm playing, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to answer your DMs. This is the one time in my life where if you have something to say, I don't want to hear it. You can't check in. You're not an adult. Everyone's just ignoring my phone calls. Whatever, it's chill. I don't even care.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities.
What an idiot I've been as a young person in this industry who has no filter and no idea what she's doing.
Rachel Zegler just can't seem to escape controversy, even when handed a clean slate. Her upcoming indie project, She Gets It From Me, was supposed to be a quiet, low-stakes comeback after the Snow White disaster. But even that is already triggering alarm bells.
Some of this upon yourself. You don't have to grovel. You don't have to beg, but you screwed up. You were given a golden goose opportunity, and that golden goose is belly up. So what do you do?
Sources close to the production are whispering that filming isn't going as planned. Despite the sunny press releases and glowing headlines about a heartfelt comedy drama, crew members say the reality is very different. And at the center of the chaos? Once again, it's Rachel Zegler.
It sounds like you're one of the only ones there, just like Rachel Zegler, as it turns out, and we part with this video of Rachel Zegler alone in a theater watching herself. One of the most unlikable humans.
That
ever.
is sadder than when the original Snow White eats the apple.
We've seen this story play out before. Zegler lands a high-profile role, dominates headlines for the wrong reasons, and then suddenly the mood on set turns sour. Rumors now point to delays, scheduling issues, and behind-the-scenes drama. All déjà vu for anyone watching her career.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities.
Some insiders claim key scenes are being shuffled last minute due to complications involving Zegler. And let's be honest. After torpedoing Snow White with that disastrous press tour and smug attitude, you'd think she'd be showing some humility. Instead, she's once again behaving like the rules don't apply to her, and this indie film, meant to save her image, is starting to unravel.
That she believes that she should be able to express herself and speak her truth, or whatever nonsense, regardless of the consequences to everybody else.
If the production delays pile up, this won't just be another bad PR moment. It could be career-ending. She Gets It From Me was pitched as a grounded, character-driven role, exactly the kind of film that should let Zegler prove her range. But with her recent track record, fans aren't convinced. Online, forums, and social media are already flooded with skepticism and backlash, not because of the film itself, but because her name is front and center on the poster.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
Why all the backlash? Because she burned bridges, a lot of them. During the Snow White rollout, she didn't promote the film. She mocked it. She dismissed the original as outdated and irrelevant, alienated longtime Disney fans, and stirred political tension with her now infamous "Trump supporters will never know peace" remark. That wasn't bold. It was reckless. Now she's pivoting to indie films, but smaller budgets don't mean less pressure. If she's being difficult behind the scenes, it'll show fast. And this time, audiences aren't waiting around to be disappointed. They're already rooting for the film to fail. Not because of the story, but because of her.
I'm cursing, but I'm gonna do it anyways because I have no self-control. Sorry, Mr. Mouse.
Industry whispers are getting louder. On the set of She Gets It From Me, the mood is reportedly shifting, and not in a good way. From unexpected delays to last-minute scheduling chaos, it's becoming harder to deny. Something's off. And once again, the common denominator appears to be Rachel Zegler. This isn't uncharted territory. Anyone who followed the Snow White implosion knows that it wasn't just poor writing or bland visuals, it was Zegler's non-stop missteps. She mocked the original fairy tale, dismissed fans, and lobbed political grenades in interviews. Every press event turned into a self-made disaster. Now those same habits are creeping into this indie project, and it's especially alarming because Embankment Films, unlike Disney, doesn't have the luxury of a billion-dollar cushion. What was supposed to be a safe, heartfelt indie release now feels like a gamble on someone with a PR record that's toxic.
I'm gonna be on a talk show tonight. I'm gonna talk shit about them on the talk show. Talking shit on the talk show.
Even before a single trailer has dropped, the film's potential is being swallowed whole by Zegler's baggage. Online backlash is building fast, with boycotts trending and audiences vocalizing their exhaustion. This film was pitched as a redemption arc, a grounded role alongside a respected co-star like Marisa Tomei. Instead, it's starting to resemble yet another entry in Rachel Zegler's ongoing series of self-sabotage. Speculative reports suggest that not only is tension rising on set, but the vibe between Zegler and her co-star is strained. Tomei has a reputation for professionalism and charm. Zegler, on the other hand, is known for conflict and controversy. Even without a trailer, forums are already dissecting leaked set photos and gossip. And fans, many of whom once gave her the benefit of the doubt, are now openly rooting for the film to flop. This indie comeback, it's slipping through her, fingers before it even begins.
Emotional experience that a person can go through to know that what they're working on is something that has reached a generation of people.
More tension, more controversy. All roads keep circling back to the same question. Why does Rachel Zegler keep getting cast? Her resume is stacked with mediocre performances and high-profile PR disasters. Snow White wasn't just a box office bomb. It was a cultural embarrassment, fueled in part by Zegler's blatant disrespect for the original story and the fans who loved it. Now, as She Gets It From Me inches toward release, you'd think she'd be walking on eggshells. But no. Rumors say production is stalling, scenes are being reworked, and disagreements about tone are brewing. The official narrative says everything's on track, but the pattern is too familiar to ignore. Even her defenders are running out of excuses. Yes, she's young. Yes, she's learning. But how many chances does one actress get before Hollywood realizes she's a liability, not an asset? Talent may open doors, but without humility and accountability, those doors eventually slam shut. Right now, Zegler is testing how many more rooms she can get into before the entire industry stops answering.
Yeah, because there's nothing more effective than 19-year-olds educating the rest of the voting public while yelling, "Okay, boomer."
Audiences haven't forgotten how Zegler laughed off Snow White's romance, trashed the original story, and lectured viewers with a smug, ultra-modern take on a beloved classic. What she fails to grasp is this. Viewers don't respond well to being talked down to, especially by someone who hasn't earned their trust. She Gets It From Me was supposed to be different. A gritty indie film, a character study, a role that could show her range and maturity. But even before it's finished, the same tension is bubbling. Skeptical press coverage, brutal online chatter, fans watching closely, not with excitement, but with suspicion. This isn't anticipation, it's people waiting for another implosion. And the worst part? Zegler doesn't seem to be adjusting. If anything, she's doubling down. Where most stars would lay low after a high-profile flop, Zegler posts smugly, books new roles, and jumps into the spotlight again without a shred of reflection. This doesn't read as resilience, it reads as arrogance. Snow White wasn't just a misfire. It was a $270 million warning. Disney's losses reportedly neared $100 million, and while the film had many flaws, Zegler's behavior helped sink it faster than anyone expected. Her press tour wasn't just awkward, it was alienating. Now she's on course to do it all over again.
Did Steven Spielberg not pay you for your role in West Side Story? Did Disney fail to give you a healthy paycheck for, Cry Me a River? She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
Rachel Zegler's jabs at tradition didn't come off as bold. They came off as dismissive. And audiences responded in the most brutal way possible. They stayed home. Now, on the set of She Gets It From Me, insiders say the cracks are already starting to show. No explosive meltdowns, yet, but a mounting unease that feels familiar, Rumors of delays, disorganization, and ego are swirling again. But this time, there's no Disney-sized PR department to clean up the mess. This is a modest indie film. Fewer resources, smaller margins. If Zegler stirs the pot here, everyone, from crew to investors, feels it. This was supposed to be her comeback. Instead, it's shaping up to be the same circus in a different tent. What's worse is how oblivious she seems to the optics. Hollywood may love a redemption story, but it's not blind. Zegler's next misstep isn't just a risk. It's a liability. Insiders are watching closely, but not out of admiration, out of caution. Studios aren't giving her second chances anymore. They're rolling the dice, fully aware she's already lost the house. And the media? They're not hyping this film. They're hedging. Phrases like tentative support and unproven post-Snow White are PR code for this could collapse at any second.
Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about your version of Snow White?
Yeah, I mean, Snow White is the girl you remember, but she's definitely made for the modern age, and there's such an emphasis on what it really means to be the fairest of them all.
The fallout from Snow White didn't just hit Disney. It hit everyone who tried to salvage that film. People lost money, careers, credibility. Rachel Zegler? She walked away like nothing happened, already locked into her next project. No reflection, no apology. There's a difference between bouncing back and pretending the wreckage didn't happen. And if she gets it from me, starts to face even a fraction of the backlash Snow White did, there's no corporate firewall to absorb the blow. This time, it's on her. But here's the red flag. She still doesn't seem to understand. No press tour mea culpa, no self-awareness, just another role, another smug soundbite. The industry isn't talking about her talent anymore. It's talking about damage control. Studios are keeping her at arm's length. She's still landing roles, but gone are the days of red carpet praise and glowing profiles. Now it's, let's see if this one crashes too. Even once supportive outlets are shifting their tone. They're not celebrating. They're bracing for impact. And behind the scenes, it's affecting everything. Production delays, script rewrites, even PR teams cautiously restructuring press strategies, just to avoid triggering another Rachel Zegler media disaster.
Who's been the most exciting person for you tonight? Oh my God, Masai, but shut took the word out of my mouth. Masai?
The energy on set, tense. The crew, cautious. Everyone's just hoping she can stay quiet long enough to finish the film. Not exactly the momentum you want for a comeback. If Zegler wants to fix her image, it has to start with humility. And from what we've seen, that's still in short supply. Because here's the truth. Even the most forgiving producers run out of excuses. This time, the backlash won't be tied to a legacy reboot. It'll be all hers. Ironically, Zegler still sees herself as the hero in a redemption arc. Like 1 or 2 box office wins will magically erase everything. But this isn't about one flop. It's about trust. How many more films can she set on fire before Hollywood finally walks away? Studios can't afford blind loyalty anymore. Not when fan backlash tanks ticket sales and trends globally before a trailer even drops. That's why this film, which should have been a clean slate, already feels like crisis control. The delays, the caution, the reworked media plans, they're not isolated. They're symptoms. And the root problem? Rachel Zegler has become a lightning rod. Not for challenging the system, but for always being one viral quote away from blowing it all up. There's no safety net this time. If she gets it from me collapses, the crash is hers to own. So now we ask, is this her final shot, or just another train wreck waiting to happen? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and buckle up, because the next video on your screen, you won't believe